What is a Microsoft Graph Toolkit?
So the Microsoft Graph Toolkit is a collection of reusable and framework agnostic components and authentication providers for accessing and working with Microsoft Graph. These components are fully functional right out of the box with built-in providers that authenticate with and fetch data from the graph.
Okay, and whose is this for? Like, is it for me? And like, do we need to be super tech or less or?
That is a good question. So because of the authentication providers that we've built are cross-platform, this is for any developer who wants to build web apps or Teams tabs or SharePoint web parts that calls the Microsoft Graph. And all of these components work across different browsers. So it's very, out of the box and fully functional.
That's cool. That's always pleasing and easy when we can just open it and start using it.
Exactly.
But why would you choose the Graph Toolkit?
So when we first started designing the Graph Toolkit, one of the most difficult part that developers always told us is it's really difficult to connect to the graph, to do the authentication by ourselves. So the Graph Toolkit was born to tackle this problem. And we want it to be fully functional so you can just drop a couple lines of code on your whatever your project, and then it just works. And that's what we wanted to do. And it's the most important reason to use the Graph Toolkit is because it's functional. And then going off of that, I mentioned earlier that Microsoft Graph Toolkit also works in any browser and with any web framework or UI framework because we design it to use web components as the base. So then you can use it within your React project, Angular, or vanilla JavaScript. And then this is why it's also easier to work with inside of your Teams tab or SharePoint web parts. And we recently introduced more providers to work with things like, what is the cross-browser one? Electron. So if you're building Electron apps now, you can also use our providers to build your apps that works everywhere. And then on top of everything that I've just said, it is very beautiful and out of the box. It looks just like your M365 applications that Microsoft developed. So when you're building something that you want to look like a Microsoft product or has the Microsoft look and feel, it just comes with it. And then last but not least, we have a lot of people asking us, oh, what if I don't want it to look like, a Microsoft look and feel?
Yeah.
So it is super flexible and customizable. We provide a lot of templates for you to find the data in the way that you want it. And we also provide things like custom CSS properties for you to utilize in order to change, colors and borders and define and to fit your own design. I think lastly is something that I already talked about. We have so many different authentication providers that you can just utilize that works for your web application. So those are all the reasons.
Oh, that's good. Like, everybody's happy this way. And like, you could do it yourself. But then like, if you do that, it's much simpler.
Exactly.
You know what they say? See it to believe it. Do you want to show us a little bit more about it?
Sure. Let's go ahead and let me share my screen. And if you can see, I'm in a directory that I created in this folder called Hello World. And let me see what's in this folder. I just created a file. It's called index.html, which would be your, if you're building a vanilla JavaScript or whatever HTML web app, this is all you need, right? So I'm going to open this in my Visual Studio Code right here. Code is opening. What I'm going to do is, give me 1 second.
If you zoom, we'll be able to see it. Excellent.
So I'm going to start with a boilerplate HTML page. Actually, let me make this full screen. And then as you can see, there's nothing really on this page, right? I'm going to change this to demo. And then the first thing you want to do is import the Microsoft Graph Toolkit library. So anything and everything that you want to see from our docs, you can go to aka.ms/mgt-docs, and you will find everything that you needed. I already have this pulled up in Etch. In the getting started guide, if you
and we'll put
down,
everything in the show notes. Sorry, we'll put everything in the show notes.
Okay, thank you. And then if you scroll down, there's a section that says you can use the M package to just drop a script tag in order to import the Graph Toolkit package into your project. So I'm just going to copy all those lines and put it right here. And then another thing that I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you here, but there are detailed documentations out there for you to follow, is to create a Azure Active Directory client ID. This will help your app to know what authentication provider or platform to go to in order to retrieve the tokens to get data from the Microsoft Graph in order to present all these data on your application. So I've created this earlier. I'm going to copy my client ID because we don't have time to really show how to create it. I'm going to save it. And as you can see, I only added 3 things here, right? There's a script tag, there's an MSL provider, and there's a login component. And if I run this right now, click go live, this is the live server. That's kind of like an add-on built in with Visual Studio Code. And I go to port 5500 in my browser. Refresh. Ta-da! It's showing a sign-in button. Isn't it cozy? And this has my name, my email, my email information. That's a little giraffe logo for our toolkit. And you can also go to or add more component on your web page, like agenda will show the calendars. What if I wanted to get all my files from my OneDrive? Then you can do mgt-file-list. I just hit save, came back. Now you can see a list of files. Isn't that amazing?
Definitely much easier than like having to write all the code required for that, right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to see what are the other components that we have made available and providers, you can go to mgt.dev is our developer component playground for people to kind of explore. And this is a sandbox solution that you don't have to really create your own account or sign in or do any of that. It just works. You should also go check out our repo at aka.ms/mgt, and that will show you all the goodies in GitHub.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
Thank you.